Hey everyone, I'm super excited that we recently released our new tool, the Zillow Bulk Upload tool, which allows you to enter a file of addresses, and in return you get back property details, information like the zestimate of the property, rent zestimate, and other useful information that can help with your investment decisions. This has been towards a whole new push of taking a lot of our tools internally from AnalyticsAriel and making it publicly available. But of course, this is a technology channel and I love to be able to teach. So I am going to show you the behind the scenes of how this tool is actually created in case you want to develop something similar on your own. My name is Ariel Herrera with the AnalyticsAriel channel, where we bridge the gap between real estate and technology. If you want to know the latest and greatest tips within the data, real estate, technology space, then please subscribe as well. Like this content if you want to see more of it. All right, let's get started. For the Zillow Bulk Upload tool, there's actually a lot of moving pieces towards it. A lot of different softwares that I haven't used before, but it pushed me to learn them in order to create this. So hopefully this could be of use for you as well. The first step is setting up the whole front end. This is what the client is interacting with. So usually when you're on a website and you're clicking on things, that's the front end. If you're saving data, that's all handled on the back end. Now the first step of the tool is to allow a user to upload a file of property addresses. This can either be a CSV file or XLSX. If it's the latter, then I only take that first sheet's components. And I want to be able to allow the user to upload. So to do this, I use Streamlit, which is an amazing web hosting tool that you could use programmatically with Python. So basically the user is able to upload through Streamlit, and Python on the back end, I'm handling that to read in their file and then output what columns they want to map to which properties I need, such as street, city, zip code, and state. Now Streamlit also allows you to host your web application on their site. So basically you submit to GitHub and then you're able to upload to Streamlit. So it makes it super easy. You don't have to even go into Heroku or other services like Docker as well. Next, I want the ability for the user to be able to go to Stripe to make a payment so that it's secure. They could use PayPal or whatever form of method. So Stripe actually has their own APIs. They work very well with Python too. Now going to the back-end pieces, one of the first things is actually saving down the file that was uploaded from the user into Amazon S3. Amazon S3, think of it as a storage or a folder. You could save pretty much any type of data. In this case, I'm saving the data as CSV. Now, one of the challenges that I had was how do I invoke an AWS Lambda function, which is just a Python function hosted on AWS. How do I basically tell it that someone has paid, now grab the data and try to run APIs to get information? This took me a little bit of time, and I ultimately had to use Zapier to identify whenever a Stripe payment is made to then kick off an AWS Lambda function. So it's just a two-step Zap, which isn't that complicated, but it does bring in a whole other application. Possibly for the future, I'll host everything on AWS and not Streamlit. And that potentially could make this process a lot easier and eliminate Zapier altogether. But after the Zap identifies, hey, user made the payment, we have the file in S3 already, then go pick up the file and run this AWS function that's already written in Python. Then once this function starts to run, I'm basically processing the file. And for each of these properties, I need to be able to get the Zillow ID so that I can get property details. And the Zillow ID isn't readily available. So what I do is I search on Bing using Bing Search Web API. I search each property individually, and then I grab the ZPID from that URL string. Now, once I have the ZPID, I could then take this and run it through the Rapid API, Zillow.com API. I know that was a mouthful. Ultimately, there's 2 steps in getting the data. For each property, 123 Main Street, I need to get the Zillow ID, so Zillow's unique identifier, and then I could put that into the API that gets property details. So there's 2 APIs there. Now for delivery, I now have a whole list of properties. I have the property details, which has all been done within the AWS Lambda function. I handle that whole API to append it as one CSV. How do I deliver it to someone? Am I just going to tell them, good luck finding it on an AWS bucket? Definitely not. So what I do here is I actually created an account with SES, which is basically Amazon's ability to send mail. And I had to get my permissions to send mail from a specific email that I had. You have to actually make a case to Amazon because they don't want you just spamming people. So once that was approved, I was able to add this as a Python function in my AWS Lambda function and ultimately be able to send out this file as an email attachment. And I believe the Python library that I used for that was MIME, and that allowed me to take the data frame and then to basically parse it in a way that it would be easily sent over an email. So as you see, there are a lot of moving parts in order to develop a web application that could be used across many different clients, especially when you're taking payment forms and you need different applications to talk to one another. This was a super exciting project. I have never used AWS in this type of way, so it was great to get exposure within that application. If you have any questions on developing web apps and you just want some tips and tricks, feel free to reach out to me as well. Leave comments below if you think there are ways that I can improve upon it or some things that you use when you create web app tools. Thanks, and if you haven't already, please subscribe.